With Halloween just around the corner, many parents are roaming the aisles for the perfect Halloween costume or raiding their own closets. But what happens when your son decides that he wants to be a princess for Halloween? And why is it somehow less alarming for a girl to dress as G.I. Joe? Well, joining me in the Google Hangout to discuss, we have Ben Fee, community member in New York, Anastacia Kurylo, who is also a mother living in New York, Julie Duckett in Nashville, mother of 5 girls, and Betsy Braun, a child development and behavioral expert in Pacific Palisades, California. Guys, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. And we've also just added Sarah. Sarah, because I've got you, I'm not showing his face, but I do have this picture pulled up from your blog post of his, might I say, wonderful Daphne costume for Halloween.
That looks awesome. That looks amazing.
It's gorgeous, and the experience that you had, when somebody remarked that this was maybe not appropriate and that you should be concerned because it might, was it quote, turn your son gay, something like that?
Yes, it was a couple of mothers at his preschool took a little bit of an issue with it and thought that it was very inappropriate and that I should never have allowed him to do that. And I very aggressively disagreed with that.
Yeah, your son's going to be awesome.
I know, right? Look at
Yeah,
that.
totally.
Ben, you're speaking as somebody who was also permitted to wear women's clothing, right, when you were younger. And I don't know if you continue that trend today, but...
Yeah, actually, in, what was it, 2004, I totally voted in drag.
Nice.
And I raided my sister's closet and had this great pink and yellow outfit.
Julie, are you, would you consider yourself, were you a bit of a tomboy when you yourself were growing up?
I actually was a very big tomboy. A lot of people didn't actually realize that I was female because I was so heavily into playing with the boys. And nobody realized that I was really a girl until, I started developing. And then I actually hated developing because then I wasn't allowed to play with the boys anymore.
And do your girls echo that for you? I know you have several, so I'm not saying they're all the same.
I do have 2 that are tomboys. My 6-year-old, she's confused. She wants to be with the boys. She wants to play with them. But she wants to be with the girls, too. She wants to be her princess, and she wants to play in the mud. And she's in this very confused state on she's not sure who she is right now.
Which
Wear a dress in the mud.
Which is kind of great. Yeah. Right? If she can sort of pleasantly navigate through that confusion. Katie, I know we have you here, too. Is this something that, just to sort of crack this open a little bit more psychologically speaking, is this something that is way more normal than maybe some people are ready or willing to admit? Is this something that has been a phenomenon through past generations, and are we just the first generation that is maybe more willing to embrace it?
It's not new for young children to be choosing, different gender outfits. That's all part of identity formation, trying on different roles, particularly in preschool, which is why it's almost astounding to hear that this mom was called out by a couple of other moms that it would be inappropriate. But to me, what's inappropriate are those horrible bloody masks and the giant swords and all that stuff is what I would like to see that stuff go. But I think it's actually very, very normal for kids to be trying on these different roles and trying on different costumes for Halloween. It's all part of figuring out who they are and all part of growing up. And I think it's great that parents are more open to it now. I think it's unfortunate that it makes some parents uncomfortable so that they end up making comments like that can be hurtful. I've had a lot of calls in the last few weeks about this from parents and their concern is not that they don't want their kids to dress as girls or boys or take a girl role or a boy role for Halloween, but more, are they going to be made fun of and what happens at school?
Right.
And my answer to parents has been that when children are allowed to be themselves and explore these different roles, it really builds their self-esteem.
I'm interested to find out what your experience was like, as you made the choices that you did to sort of play with gender identity in that way, and how you feel that it shaped your adulthood even.
I believe that when I was young, it just kept my horizons broad. I think as we age, when we're young, our periphery is huge. It's limitless. Everything we take in kind of forms the direction we're going, and then that kind of spirals into itself. If you think one thing, you'll head in that direction, and then you'll keep heading in that direction. But if you keep your mind open and keep yourself open to all these different ideas, the further you go along, the more broad of a scope and more open you'll be to everything else as they come along into your life.